What's up? This is Casanova. We're going to go ahead and continue with our lecture about rhetoric. What is rhetoric? So we've reviewed rhetorical appeal, so ethos, logos, pathos, and kairos. Okay, if you missed that, ethos is an argument of character. Logos is an argument of logic. Pathos is an argument of emotion, and kairos is an argument of context. Right time, right place. All right. So we're going to go ahead and jump into logical fallacies. So we see logical fallacies like every single day. Pretty much, pretty much, people use these to get their point across, but it's kind of like having fun and liberties with the information that you really shouldn't be having. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So, what is a logical fallacy? A logical fallacy is an error in reasoning. It is used as a distraction or deflection from what the argument is really saying. All right, so we have a lot of these on here, and we're just going to, but so this shouldn't take long. We'll fly through them all, but we will, I'll give you some examples of a few. Okay, cool. Right. Also, think about how you see these in everyday life. That's a good thing to think about. Okay. So first, we have distortion fallacies. So we have the bare assertion that you deny the issue exists. It's like, hey, the basement's kind of flooding right now. Like, no, no, it's not. Nope, nope. Hey, look, just totally ignoring what the issue is. And then you have um, circular reasoning, or begging the question. The basis of the argument is the point you need to prove. So you've probably heard people say this a lot. It is what it is. Okay. So that's circular reasoning because it is what it is. We don't. There's not an answer. There's nothing. There's nothing proving why it is what it is. Our oversimplification reduces complexities to simplification. Either or thinking reduces all options to two extremes and shows a bias. Okay, so you see the picture on the screen. If you've ever seen the Matrix, there's a concept of the red pill and the blue pill. You gotta see the red pill or the blue pill. So either or thinking is either you have choice A or choice B, and there are no other options. There's always a third option. There's always another methodology. All right, complex question is by phrasing a question in a certain way, a person ignores or covers a more basic question. So, instead of saying like, hey, where's the food? What you're asking is, what is necessary for us to be able to partake of a meal? And you're sitting there going, food? You could have just said, where's the food? Then there's the straw man. A writer argues against a claim that is easily refuted. This claim exaggerates or misrepresents the opponent's position. Okay? Let's go ahead and move on to sabotaging fallacies. Okay, so red herring. When a person puts forth a volatile idea to pull readers away from the real issue. So growing up, I watched this cartoon named A Pup Named Scooby Doo. There've been a lot of Scooby Doos lately, but I watched the Pup Named Scooby Doo. And on A Pup Named Scooby Doo, the first suspect that Fred always went to was a guy literally named Red Herring. And red herring was designed to distract you from who the actual person is. So a red herring. So when someone uses the red herring fallacy, it's like I always think of the think of the children. So like the issue could be voting. Okay, so we're talking about people need to be able to vote and all these other things. How do we do this? How do we handle all this? And then someone goes, well, people are trying to stuff ballots and blah 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 blah, and we need to stop people. We need to. It goes to the whole. It goes left field, and you're like, the real issue is we did just pick a machine. Just all we're gonna do is just how are we gonna do this? Are we gonna do traditional primary? We're gonna do ranked style voting. All right. Also, misuse of humor. Pretty much when a joke doesn't land. Humor is a very effective persuasive tool and a very effective rhetorical tool unless it bombs. As someone who uses humor a lot, I've seen it bomb horribly. So be careful when using humor. You have to make sure that pretty much the joke has to land. Appeal to pity, using emotion to manipulate readers into agreeing. Okay, let's go back to our "In the Arms of the Angels" example. Um, Using the dogs was effective. I mean, they could have just said use like dogs, just like normal looking dogs. But they almost crossed the line of this because they picked the one-eyed dog, the three-legged dog, the shaking dog, the emaciated dog. The point would have been just, and even the music, the point would have been just as effective. All right, use of threats, simple but unethical method to coerce people into doing what you want. If you don't vote for this candidate, China wins. Literally threats. If you don't vote for this candidate, we will go into poverty and everybody will die. Back on what people don't look up, they don't look up to research or anything. So if I speak to your base fear, I'll say that again. If I speak to your base fear and I scare you enough to do what I want you to do, that is called manipulation. That is not good. Cool? All right, so don't threaten people. Bandwagon mentality. A claim can or cannot be true because the majority of people support or oppose it. All right, so I'm gonna give you two examples for this one. The first one is something you see every day. If you eat at McDonald's, what does the sign? What is the big old red with the arches and the McDonald's? What does it say under the word McDonald's? I want you to think about it for a second. Or you're like, I don't eat at McDonald's. Or if you're in my international audience, I don't know what the word McDonald's is. I'm gonna let you Google it for a second. Oh, wait a second. Water. Awesome. All right, so if you Googled it, if you thought about it, or if you did the Dora the Explorer and screamed at the screen, or screamed at the screen, the sign says billions and billions served. Now, there are over 7 billion, almost 8 billion people on the earth right now. You know good and doggone well that not every single person in the world has ever eaten at McDonald's. A lot of countries don't even have a McDonald's. So the billions of billions means billions and billions of their product. But in our mind, we're like, oh, billions and billions of McDonald's served. I should have McDonald's. Bandwagon mentality. Or okay, also growing up as a 90s kid, we also had a lot of anti-drug commercials. See, y'all got the truth. It's like the truth commercials, the guy's like, all these things in your lungs. In your lungs. Now watch. Because I said that, you just gonna put a commercial in this, it's gonna be that commercial. Like if that happens while you're watching this, put it in the comments. But I grew up with the the early anti-drug commercials. So they always started out like guys like biking, skateboarding, playing basketball. Usually skateboarding. Here we go. Skateboarding to get done, and this guy pulls out a cigarette. He's like, dude, you should dude, you want to smoke? You should totally do this, man. The other guy's like, no, dude, that's not cool. I'm not, no, just say no. Guy's like, dude, everybody does it. And then the commercial's like, and it's like, no, they don't. Bandwagon mentality. Everybody does it. Because everybody does it, you should do it too. That's usually not the case. Or I'll give you this one. You're talking to your parents, and you want to do something, and your parents said no. You say why, and your parents said, if you and little Bobby were to go on the bridge, you and all your friends, if they were to jump off the bridge, would you do it too? What they're implying is, are you going to follow the bandwagon? Are you going to do what everybody else does because everybody else is doing it? All right, let's keep going. Man, we're making good time on this. Let's keep going. All right. Appeal to popular sentiment. Associating your position with something properly loved. There is a video. In fact, I'm going to find it and put it in the comments. There is a clip from Family Guy, one of my favorite clips, where Lois was running for mayor of Quahog, and Brian was her campaign manager. And they were, if I was actually teaching this in person, we would literally have started class with this clip. Uh, so, sorry, just playing in my head. So, Adam West, Lois, and they're going through the debate, and like Lois is giving like real real authentic answers, and Adam West is like patting people on the head, sitting on her lap, and everybody's like, I like him, he's very nice. Oh yeah. And Lois goes off stage and goes, Brian, what's going on? And he's like, you need to like say something that connects to people so that way they will want to follow you. So she goes out and she goes, somebody asks her a question. She says, 9/11 was bad. She kept going. It got to the point all she had to say was 9/11. And the crowd was like with her. They're like, yeah, yeah. And she goes, 9. Everybody's like, 11. Everybody's like, whoa. Everybody just losing it. Can I tell you that actually happened? My older students would be like, For the young folk, let me help you out with some history. So September 11th, 2001, we know about that. The World Trade Center, the old World Trade Center, Twin Towers, were attacked by terrorists, and planes hit, collapsed, all that stuff. Like September 12th was like the day I've the only time I've ever really seen the country this unified. I mean, everybody was like helping each other. Everybody was grieving with one another. We was having songs, and companies capitalized on this because like this new level of unity and patriotism in the United States. So everything had an American flag on it. We had freedom fries. Yes, youngins, freedom fries. We had freedom fries because France did not want to help us with the war on terror, which that's a loaded subject as this. So everybody's like, the French don't want to help us, fine. We want to have freedom fries. And French fries have nothing to do with France. But I digress. Everything had a flag on it. Pretty much you weren't so companies were saying, we support this new patriotism, this new energy. If you buy our product, you're supporting America. This is where America came from, y'all. The concept of America. We had songs. There's one song got a cuss word in it. I can't sing it, but it involves putting a boot in the lower regions where things come out. I guess it's, and the song said it's the American way. So, but they appeal to what was popular, to what was important to the day, to engage it, and people still do that. I mean, we see it half the things I'm talking about, yet we actually see politicians do. Like people's base fears. China's going to take our jobs. Now we got Russian. At the time of this recording, this is during the Russo-Ukrainian War, so everybody's like scared of Russia. Everybody's like Russia again. Fear of poverty, fear of indoctrination, what people do, what politicians do, and what people in general do, is some pull on people's base fears. This is across the political spectrum. Nobody's sitting there going, here you go. Everybody does it. Like, even in the other realm of life that I have, that, people pull on people's base fears to get a response and get them to do what they want. That's a fallacy. Hashtag that's a fallacy. All right, let's keep going. I'm having too much fun with this. Okay. Ooh, this video about to be long, y'all. I'm sorry. Faulty conclusion fallacies. Appeal to ignorance. Suggests that no one has proven or disproven a claim and must be either true or false. How many times have y'all seen that? We could use like the moon landing conspiracy, but we're gonna go a step further. Flat Earth theory. That the Earth is flat. I have to say this is full transparency. My best friend is a flat earther. I love him. I really do. And a lot of the stuff, a lot of the claims have been built because of, well, this hasn't been proven, this hasn't been proven. And I'm literally going, bruh. When you can't just say something is true or not true just off of personal observation. You have to do something called research, which we'll be getting to at some point in our time together. Yes, it's my best friend. It's okay for me to disclose that my best friend is a flat earther. I still love him now. He's great. He's great. So, looking at a lot of conspiracy is built off of appeals to ignorance, and it's not ignorance as in ignorance. The core definition of ignorance is the lack of knowing. So appealing to people's ignorances is that you kind of goes back to what we talked about with appealing to popular sentiment. You use this ignorance, this thing that people might not know or not know, to propel your argument, but you're building it on shaky ground. All fallacious statements are built on shaky ground. Let's continue. Hasty or broad generalization, opinion based on little to no evidence or allows no exceptions. An example of this is cultural stereotypes. We're not going to deep dive into this because y'all ain't getting me in trouble today. But cultural stereotypes, yes, they might have a grain of truth to them, but it's not all across the board. Or even if we look at it from a personal level, it's always or never thinking. Y'all always talk about me. You never answer my. You always. That's a generalization. That's a generalization because there have been times where that has not been the case, huh? About that. You see it a lot, especially with my 6-year-old. He'll be like, "You guys always blah blah." I just gave you candy yesterday. Calm down. Y'all, we almost done. False calls. If A comes before B, A must have called B. Hey, hey, hey. Turn the volume up a little bit. Hey, I'll tell you something. Okay? It's just me and you talking right now. I know this on YouTube, but me and you talking. Don't eat bread. Don't do it. Don't eat that bread. You're like, why shouldn't I eat bread? Man, because the last time I ate bread, y'all, I caught the flu. I got flu rona, y'all. Don't be eating that bread. Don't be eating that sliced bread. That sliced bread been giving people flu rona, y'all. That is an example of false calls. I know y'all like, is this man, is he serious right now? Oh my, I might need to change schools. All right, let me break it down to you. So false calls, pretty much, this happened and then this happened, but the math is not math. They're not connecting. You cannot. Oh my God, I can't believe I have to say this. You cannot get flurona. That's a real thing, y'all. You cannot get sick from sliced bread in that nature. If sliced bread making you sick, you either got, what's that one thing? Look, you either got the gluten sensitivity like I do, or the other one, the medical one. See, this is what happens when you make videos right after medical leave. So, what is it? I'll remember it later. I'll put if you know what I'm trying to talk about, put it in the comments. But anyway, because I got like 2 more of these to do. So If bread's making you sick, you're having an issue with gluten, the bread's stale and got mold, you're eating natural penicillin and your body's not giving what it needs to give, or something else is going on. You're not going to sit here and eat a piece of toast and be like, achoo, that it doesn't connect. Let's keep going. All right, slippery slope. One single step will start an unstoppable chain of events. You don't understand. You don't understand. If I fail this paper, I'm gonna fail this class, and then I'm gonna fail out of college. Then I'm gonna lose. Then I'm gonna be under a bridge. That's a little. That's a lot. That just went downhill. That's what slippery slope thinking is. One thing is going to cause this chain of event, this extreme chain of events. When there are steps that can stop, there are other things that can happen. There are other options. It goes back to either or thinking. Either or thinking, at least you have two options. Slippery slope says, this is the only way this is going to happen. I'm going, like, But people use that again. People use, again, appealing to fear, appealing to emotion, appealing to ignorance. This one thing causes all of these things to happen. If you don't vote for this candidate, some random country wins. Wins what? The lottery, Deal or No Deal, Price is Right. That's not how this world works. So in slippery slope, you have to be very careful. There is a process. There's always like other doors. There's always like infinite possibilities of things happening. It's not just going to be this one thing happens and oh, it's lost. I'm going to die. No. All right. All right. Let's go. Let's go on to the next one. All right. Misusing evidence. All right. Impressing with numbers. So the writer drowns readers in statistics and numbers to overwhelm them into agreement. There's a song from a musical. I was actually in this musical. It's like, I think it was The Boyfriend, and I was in high school. I can remember that, but I can't remember the medical term for the disease that with the gluten in the intestines and stuff. But anyway, so this song is like, there's safety in numbers, is what I believe, and all this stuff. When you use statistics, we're going to talk about this a little bit later in class. When you use statistics, stay with me now. Sure, you explain what the statistics mean. What people tend to do is they tend to throw out all these numbers. Oh, well, this percent of the this percent of the that percent and the numbers and the 1 and the 5 and all these things. And you just sit here going, math. Yes, math. Because you don't understand what the numbers are telling you. So responsible information usage requires you, and responsible information ethics requires you explain what this means. Because people want you to, because ultimately in persuasive writing and even in rhetorical practices, people want you to agree with them. So they're going to be like numbers, stats, math. And then you're going to be like, okay, all right, you said it. All right. Half truths. Consider pretty much. If the half truth is a full lie, y'all done true and false questions before. If it doesn't have the whole thing, it's false. Unreliable testimonial. If the authority is not qualified, then their testimony is irrelevant. I always say this when I'm talking about, when we dig into argumentative writing a little bit more. I teach English. I do a lot of things, but I teach English. So if I'm sitting here writing to you about brain surgery, am I qualified to write about it? I can do all the research in the world, but if you look at paper, look at my receipts, look at my credentials, am I really qualified to write about it? No. That is not my area. Therefore, You cannot use my information. If someone is not, if going back to ethos, part of the argument of ethos is who is saying this and are they qualified to say it. If the person is not qualified to say it, don't use it. But the issue is that we ran into this in social media, especially with the Rona, during the Rona. Y'all remember all this? That people were, people were literally just pulling information, had no medical qualifications whatsoever, but because of the direness of the situation, people were listening to them because everybody wanted out the house. You have to make sure that the person who's giving information is qualified to give it, and make sure that the information that's being given is accurate. We'll talk about that in a probably not the next set of videos, but the ones after. All right. Attacks against the person, ad hominem, directs attacks at a person's character, lifestyle, or beliefs. Let's talk about this one right here. We've seen this in real time. We've watched political debates. So people will talk about people's record and things like that, and then it goes left. Remember the whole Marco thing? That was the perfect example of an ad hominem attack. We don't need to know that information, sir. Yeah, this is what happens when I come back from medical leave. I'm on like, take for what you will. So think about when you're arguing with somebody and you're trying to state the facts, and the person said, "Well, you have no right to be talking about that because ain't your mama blah 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 blah." That's called the definition of a low blow. Okay, but using ad hominem attacks, yes, can be an effective tool, but is it really effective at the price of your credibility? All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I'm trying to speed this up, y'all. Hypothesis contrary to the fact. Pretty much it relies on if only thinking based on the assumption if something did or did not happen. Self-explanatory. False analogy. X is good or bad because it is like Y. It may be valid, but will weaken the argument if vague or unrelated. All right. I'm trying to fly through these because we have one more. I like this one. I like this one a lot. Y'all ready? Misusing language. Let's talk about that. Obfuscation. Simple things more profound using fuzzy terms like throughput and downlink to muddy, confuse the issue. Let's talk about this. Obfuscation. So, in preparation of the extrapolation of the appellate language that is being used to rhetoricalize the topic at hand, we must be able and willing to analyze this, dissect, and disseminate the information necessary to convey a message in which how this person presented it and presented it with clarity and intensity to where the crowd was convinced and influenced for them to do what the person has commanded and demanded and directed for them to do. I'm like, what did he? All I just said, the purpose of rhetorical analysis is to identify the message. Y'all like, why did he just say that? People, but this is what happens when people try to use big words. People try to use language to make the issue or even themselves sound a lot bigger than they really are. I see it in papers all the time. People be like, if I use all these big words and all these things, he gonna just say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. I just need you to say it. Just say it. Don't use big words. Just say it. But obfuscation, is designed because it helps you. Logical fallacies are designed to help impress, are designed to help make things look bigger, make things look like, yes, I should agree with this. So for many people equate vocabulary with intelligence, and that is not always the case. Y'all sound like, Dad, I'm doing my good teaching day. Again, I'm doing my good teaching. All right. Ambiguity, statements that can be interpreted in multiple ways. Um, the double entendre, for example. A double entendre means the same statement, a statement that pretty much has a dual meaning. Um, it's usually like you usually see that in jokes, but it's an issue of clarity. Be clear in everything that is being said. All right, and then slanted language by using strong positive and negative connotations. A writer can draw readers away from the true logic of the argument. Let's talk about this. All right. So if I make something sound overly positive, like this product, ah, this product has been proven. This product has been proven to rapidly calm people and bring them to a state of area which helps them focus through the day. If you just take one, just one of these pills, I, it will change your life thoroughly. If you take one every day, you will be the happiest person in the world. I mean, it worked for me so much. I mean, I listen. This works for me so. You don't know that. I mean, ultimately, looking at it again, I'm using strong positive connotations because the argument could be, should we even sell this? Should we approve this thing? If I'm giving you all the positives or I'm giving you all the negatives, it's not balanced. True rhetoric is balanced. True argument, which we'll be talking about next, is balanced. All right? All right. Whew. All right, friends. This was a longer video. Um, but this kind of gets meaty. If I was doing a traditional lecture, we'd be actually going a little bit longer. But hold tight, drink some water. Yes, I know this is a massive thing of water. Hold on. Drink some water, stretch, find your happy place. We're going to come back and I'm going to talk with you about the actual rhetorical analysis. All right, friendos, I will talk to you soon.